Hi, welcome. This is Kit Alowitz. Welcome to another 1.5 minute nugget. Today I would like to talk about don't eat the marshmallow. Now, I've always been acutely aware that I must work hard to make my presentations, speeches, programs, talks, blogs, videos, articles, posts insightful. In fact, refreshing might be the right word. Years ago, I heard of a gentleman that went and gave a speech, and when he was done with the speech, he went down into the audience to ask, well, what did you think? And the first guy he asked replied, oh, it was most refreshing. And a little perplexed, the guy asked, well, what about my talk was so refreshing? And the fellow replied back, I don't know, but when I woke up, I felt really refreshed. Well, I'd like to talk to you today about a refreshing topic, and that topic is the ability to follow through on commitments, goals, plans, desired outcomes after the emotion of making that commitment is passed. I'm entitling this section today, Don't Eat the Marshmallow. And this is one of my favorite analogies or stories since I've been talking about this. Let me explain. Decades ago in California at the University of Stanford, there was a professor who took little kids individually into a room and put before them a big, juicy marshmallow. And he said, hey, listen, I got to leave the room, but if you don't eat the marshmallow, when I come back, I'll bring you another marshmallow. And then he left the room, and they watched the kids through a one-way mirror. And it was pretty hilarious. Some kids, as soon as the professor left the room, the kids ate the marshmallow. Other kids were able to withstand for a little bit, but then got up, started to walk around the marshmallow, poke the marshmallow, maybe even lick the marshmallow, and then they ate it. And then, yet there were some kids who didn't eat the marshmallow. And when the professor came back, he brought them another marshmallow, and he followed those kids through high school. And he found that the ones who didn't eat the marshmallow statistically have more of their own money in the bank and scored higher on some of the aptitude tests that they were doing at that time. So we all have marshmallows in our lives. The marshmallows represent temptation, and we all have temptation in our lives. Temptation shows up in all sorts and sizes and fashions. For me, it's sugar. For others, it's taking shortcuts. For still others, it's following through on commitments we make earlier, and now those commitments have come asking us to complete them. If you could eat the marshmallow, whatever the marshmallow is for you in your life less often, give in to temptation, again, whatever temptation is for you less often, reduce the number of times you don't follow through professionally, personally, mentally, spiritually, physically, can you imagine that? Be marshmallow free? What's possible is marshmallow free. More goal completion, less sugar. More employee engagement, less unwise shortcuts. More employer satisfaction, more discipline, more follow-through, more winning, more satisfaction. It is possible. Now, I'd like to offer you some answers today. The first answer is called willpower. According to the American Psychological Association's Stress in America survey, a majority of people lack or cite lack of willpower as the number one reason for the inability to make changes to follow through and get the desired outcomes they want in life. Heck, who hasn't at times chickened out on getting something they wanted or needed or said that they should do? Now, willpower has a couple definitions. Number one, it's the motivation to exercise will. Number two, it's the ability to make conscious choices. Number three, it's the ability to control impulses and therefore determine behavior. Some synonyms to willpower include power words like self-control, self-discipline, self-constraint, determination, resolve, drive, dedication, discipline, doggedness, tenacity, stay power, desire, persistence, constraint, and temperance. Willpower can be strengthened. We can grow it. We can will it. Growing and sustaining willpower takes discipline. Discipline is the next answer to don't eat the marshmallow. Discipline is the ability to follow through on a commitment after the emotion of making that commitment has passed. Next answer. What's easy to do is also very easy not to do. So while frankly it's easy to resist the marshmallow, heck, some 5-year-old kids did it decades ago, it's easier not to. It's easier to exercise, and frankly, it's easier not to. It's easy to eat right, and you know what? It's easier not to. It's easy to schedule your priorities, and frankly, it's just easier not to. Next answer, slow down for yellow lights. For many of us, the yellow light has become the universal sign for speed up. It is. It has. And this is unwise. Now, when we come to marshmallows in our road, whatever the road looks like for you, which might be things like decisions, choices, should-dos in our lives, want-to-dos in our lives, by slowing down, we will eat less marshmallows and ensure ourselves the time to think first instead of acting first and then thinking second. Additionally, slowing down for yellow lights or things in our lives allows us to better calculate if we are really ready and able and have the desire to go after the goal, whatever that goal ends up being. Slow down for yellow lights in our lives. Put a space between the stimulus we get and the reaction or choices to those stimuli. Don't eat the marshmallow. It's a choice. It takes willpower. It takes discipline. It takes recognizing that what's easy to do is easy not to do, and it takes slowing down for yellow lights in our lives. It takes living and choosing deliberately. For my powerful emotional close today, I'm going to be taking some text from one of my favorite writings of all time. It comes from the pen of Henry David Thoreau in his book Walden. I'd like you to let these words just soak in. I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived. I did not wish to live that which was not living. Living is so dear. Nor did I wish to practice resignation unless it was quite necessary. I wanted to live deep and suck the marrow out of life, to live so sturdily and so Spartan-like as to put to rout all that was not life, to cut a broad swath, to shave close, to drive life into the corner and reduce it to its lowest terms. My challenge to you is, don't eat the marshmallow.